welcome to another 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. This is a sit-down edition, which is always fun. Couple of first times here. First time we're doing a sit-down in studio. That's never happened before. And the first time we're having my friend Joe. Joe, welcome to the show, my friend.
Pleasure.
Joe is with Adtaxi. Joe and I met a couple years ago at a trade show. Through another friend of mine who actually still works with Joe's company. And so, Joe, tell us a little bit about the Joe Wilke story quickly.
Yeah, so I didn't make it through college,
Okay.
right? Once started going to college, then I got out of college and sold cars one summer. Was terrible at it, couldn't stand it. And I think that was more because I was more interested in what happened after I got out of the dealership, you know? And so my priorities weren't set straight. From there, I started getting into marketing from the Yellow Pages side. So whole family's been in the Comcast side, Yellow Pages side of the business. Worked at YP for 3 years. Loved working there, loved the training, all that, and it was great. And I was more like, I had definitely a lot more restraint there and more visibility into what was being created digitally. Saw all the warning signs, if you will, the writing on the wall there. Once you finally start to see what's really out there. I left there and onboarded at Adtaxi about 3.5 years ago. I started out on the sales engineering side, you know, really looking at data, selling based on data versus on savvy buzzwords.
Sure.
So
which most salespeople would love to bring to the table.
Right. And so it was really based on hammering out data, looking at CRMs, you know, and analyzing geographies and really maximizing what matters to the client. And really caring, so just service, and it's just opened up my eyes. Really.
And you've always really been heavy on the service side, haven't you? Because I noticed with your interactions with our clients that we share, we have a few, that you are as in touch with them or in their world as any vendor they have. Where did that start from?
Gosh, I think that I just don't like being sold, right? And then I love a good experience. I love being able to go somewhere and just being treated well. And I think that people matter, their money matters, and their time matters just as much. And so if we're going to spend your money, if I'm using your time, you're utilizing my time, let's make the most of it. And I think that's business first. I use I'm not successful unless you are. So let's service. And then when don't ever feel like we got to figure it out, right? So we can always be better. And that's just the way I just think it's just what's made me who I am and made me successful, and just what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. And I get a lot of feedback from customers, obviously, telling me, you know, Sean, one vendor this, one vendor that. But with you, it's pretty much the same, which is, man, Joe called me here, Joe took care of me there, Joe took care of me there, which is really appreciative. And along that line, I really want to help the audience. Well, here we are in 2020. I want the audience to be educated on OTT. Sure. That's how you and I sort of made our introduction, if you will, and started to work together on that. Just first of all, what the hell does OTT mean, Joe, as an actual word? And then what is its premise at its basic level?
Yeah, so it's over-the-top television, right? That's where the OTT initiated from, and where it stood is it's essentially anything that's connected to a TV that sits over the top of your router or your cable box, right? Okay. So that's where over the top came from. So it sits over the top of your cable box.
Okay.
Now in 2019, right, going into 2020, there is not a TV that's going to be made that's not a smart television. That's not a connected device. That's connected to the internet that allows you to stream content. And that can be done whether it's on your mobile phone, your tablet, you know, your desktop, or the largest TV in the room, which essentially is connected TV. And so it's anything that's connected to the Wi-Fi that sits over the top of your old cable box.
That's great.
Being dusted off, right?
There it is, OTT in its definition. Now you guys can write it down. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So how is it that you started to get involved in that space? How long has it been?
So 3 years, right?
Okay.
So when I first started, it's programmatic. Is essentially what it is, and
well, hold on now. Definition.
Programmatic is anything that can be bought in a real-time bidding environment. So it's an ad exchange.
Great.
Same way, like, you know, those old display ads that no one ever clicks on.
Yes.
That's bought programmatically, right? Or the Google Display Network. You know, so it's programmatic advertising, and the exchange essentially is where you can go in and bid against other people, right? And it used to be big companies like Nissan, right? Was a big name that was just the OEM tier 1 side of it, right? That
was already in the space 3 years ago. That's who you were dealing with already. Was the higher level.
Oh yeah, there was mostly big tier.
Big
business. And then, you know, but you could get so granular, no one actually caught wind to it versus where those traditional dollars are being spent that weren't measurable. So it was really hard sell in the beginning, actually, because you're like, wait, people are streaming TV,
right?
You know, but they still have a cable box.
That's only 3 years ago. Think about
That's only 3 years ago. Yeah. And
now Disney has their own streaming platform. Here we go.
They have their own streaming platform. Yeah, it's so that you can't go on Disney Plus and
no ads there for you guys.
They'll look at Hulu, right?
ABC, they'll give in somewhere in the deal.
Yeah, now Roku's in the $1 billion club, right? They'll hit $1 billion in revenue in 2019.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I mean that covers 70% of the televisions that are made now.
That's crazy.
So I mean that's NA TV already built into it. Same with Amazon Fire Stick or your Apple TV that you can plug right into your.
So the Apple TV, the Amazon Fire Stick, those are the ad spaces that you'll be.
That's the connected device.
Gotcha.
Right?
That's the device.
Right, and then so you have your publishers. Right, and your distributors, content distributors. So anything that's in app, when you open up your smart TV and you see you got Netflix, Hulu, Sling TV, you got all these things, and some of them have free content, some of them are paid subscriptions. The whole idea behind it is that what's so cord cutters are so attracted to it by is that you can stream when you want. Now, the cable provider tells you to.
Sure.
Right, and I think that's what's so sexy about it, and it's not done by like, hey, you have to pay this certain amount each month. It's like, well, I could pay $3.99 for this each month because I love outdoor television. I love watching Monster Bass, or I love watching Meat Eater without having a Netflix subscription. Or I really love
Hulu,
sports.
we found a favorite channel of yours, though.
Yeah, I do. I do love outdoor.
You get it. Those are some real names you weren't going to just come off the top of your head. Those are real shows.
No doubt.
That Joe likes to engage.
I do like
I can
those.
see the smile on your face there. I like it.
And so those are live things that you can stream on your time, not when they tell you to. But there's thousands of them out there, and whether you want to watch Oprah or that's not one.
Sure, no, I mean you went there pretty quick. You know what I'm saying? Just don't name any episodes.
Or Sunday football. Right?
There we go.
Exactly. Which we'll watch later. Right?
Yes, later today. Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, it's a big space, right? And it's to the people think it's just a younger generation that are cord nevers, if you will, right? Which is still people that are in market to buy vehicles. They're the next generation, and that's kind of where the flow of people is going. But you can see the trajectory too, is that the same people still have their cable box, right? That they're connected to their Wi-Fi through Comcast or whoever.
DirecTV, man, you're staring at them. I got DirecTV, but I have cord cutter things like YouTube TV.
Correct. Yeah, YouTube TV, and then you have, and that's their programmatic channel, right? And even the Google exchanges, ad exchange is programmatic, and so they still have their cable box, but they're still streaming. So when a cable provider tells you, this is really important to know, it's like, oh, well, they still have a cable subscription. Well, they're also streaming too.
Right.
And they still have a smart television, and they can go and do it on their time, not when you tell them.
Is that why it's recommended in most cases, or at least this is what I've heard, is that you run both the traditional and the OTT together? There's a lot of power to that because of those people who keep both and see both. There's a lot. There's use to that. And it's not that. I hear a lot of people say, well, cool, OTT, I'll just take all my traditional money, put it in OTT.
I would say no.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Yeah, especially if you have a great, it's like, there's dealer groups and single points that, you and I both even work with across the country. Let's talk about one out in Colorado who's never done traditional TV.
Never.
Who just was like, I want to try over the top. I want to get it before everybody else does. Smart thinkers, right? And they never had any ads, and they're mega dealers, if you will.
They are now. I mean, number one Ford store, top 3 Subaru store.
They're crushing it. And then the minute they turn that on, brand new audience, organic direct traffic went right up, and you could also was measurable too.
There are measurable clicks. I mean, look, you've got 30 to 40 users a month are measured into the GA. Now that may not sound like a lot to people, and I don't really care because 40 people who've never been to my Subaru site before, who show up via connected TV, that's 40 more people than I saw from a traditional ad I would have run, right? Visually,
correct,
as far as what I could see.
Yep.
Now, I don't know anything about it. I do know its uniqueness, so I do know that that's probably 40 different people.
Sure.
And that's a big deal. So for you, how do you measure it though? Like, you say it's measurable, but how is it?
So I think that we let's not forget it's video, and so
that's a great point to make, right? So you're gonna get into OTT. You need to have content.
Yeah,
right?
Right. You need to be able to produce content and make it meaningful too. So I'm not. You know this about me. I'm not a a guy that thinks incentives make or break your monthly sales.
Sure.
Right? I think that when someone's in market for a car and when they're looking to have a car, why they're choosing you is important.
It's a message
And
attached to it.
Yeah, and we go back to the why, right? And
Right.
but I'm a why buy, right?
Yeah.
So like, give me a reason why I should come to you. Tell me about the experience. What's great about coming to shop with you? And so I love an evergreen, and the uniqueness of this too, of OTT, I don't want to get away from, is what you can actually do with the content you create. Now, one is just think about like, you want someone to walk into your dealership, right? You're a dealer principal, GM. What would be your message when you want to tell someone to come buy from you? What would that be? That's your opportunity to tell them, right?
Yeah.
And you can say whether or not they had 100% completion of that video.
Yeah. Or you can have a customer say it. You can use customer video. I mean, there's all kinds of usage of content within
So
the
many
space.
great
It's crazy.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have like, and I've seen really good content where it's super old school or where they're shaking hands with the customer and they're telling their story and they're like,
Everyone turns, smiles at the camera. Right? I don't care. Whatever it takes.
It works, right?
Whatever
And
it
then,
takes.
but now
you got to have content.
Yeah,
You
well,
can't
let's say
just
that,
wake up and have it.
yeah, you definitely create that, make
Yeah.
sure that it's meaningful, and it doesn't have to be this mecca, right?
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be this beautiful piece of let's spend more on the video than we did on
We're shooting
the
this on a
marketing.
ring light and a cell phone.
Right,
We're
right.
not talking
That's
to
not
major
crazy.
worlds here,
Doesn't
folks.
need to be.
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
and then now let's talk about so we can measure that. We're getting to measuring is we can measure if that person 100% completed that video,
Okay.
right? So it's non-skippable. That's a beautiful part about the OTT
Yeah, as
environment.
we've learned from OTT, it's unskippable
It's
on
unskippable.
YouTube TV. You watch what you watch.
Yeah,
that's the
that's
score,
it.
man.
That's what you're watching.
That's it.
And but it's great.
2.3 minutes.
It's great for that 30-second spot or 15-second spot to really
It
get
is.
your message across.
It is.
Now let's say that was a powerful message. First time they saw it, now we can say that they came to my website. They made a meaningful action. Now we're not looking for homepage visits,
No.
right? We're looking for, did they come to an SRP page, a search results page? Did they come to a vehicle description page? How much time did they spend on that vehicle description page? What vehicle description page were they viewing?
Correct.
Now I have an opportunity to serve them that great incentive ad that I have for the Toyota Tacoma this year.
Right.
Or this month, pardon me, Toyotathon. It's a great, now, as creepy as that may be, it's actually a great end user experience when, later they're on their tablet.
Yeah, I'm over the whole creepiness thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
me too. And
I just like to have a good experience.
But-
My phone is already a walking,
Yes.
governmental experiment. I don't really care. I'm over it.
So, me too.
Yeah.
And we live in this space. We're
That's
not,
it.
and
That's it.
even beforehand, we're not creeped out. And even other
Yeah.
people aren't. But like, would you want to hit them with come in and schedule a test drive? Or would you want to hit them with that incentive? Why not both?
Right.
Right? So you can add that into your video.
To your next video.
Right.
So Joe, let me ask you something. As we kind of wrap this up, because I don't like, you've been gracious with your time as is. How is it that people, give me 2 things people should avoid?
I think it's not about impressions.
Okay.
Right? It's not about impressions. So, I mean, I think that
That's just in digital marketing in general.
it's
people.
not impressions.
Joe,
and same like
Joe
so,
is saying it in general.
Right, in
But
general.
OTT specific.
yeah,
do
so
not
I
get
think
stuck in
that,
impressions.
let's talk about cable television and like how many people they said how many times they ran the ad or the CPM how low the CPM was. I don't give a crap about the CPM.
Right.
Right. I want to know what happened. Did that person see it? Was it the right person, right, at the right time in their journey, right, to see my video? I don't know if my TV's turned off and you're showing my ad. That doesn't make a difference.
Right.
Right. So that's the beauty of it. You need to understand that. But it's past 100% completed view. Now let's measure what happened afterwards. So make sure you have the right signals in place, the right
Site
tagging,
signals, that's a big thing
the
for
right
you.
tagging, and making sure that you're measuring after the view, right? So measuring once they come on site, what are they doing, and now what are you doing to re-engage that audience?
Some people call it a view-through metric, where
It
you're able
is
to see what
absolutely
happens
100%
after the fact.
view through,
Which is technology your company uses within your ad space.
100%.
You
So
have that.
we absolutely have it.
So if you're working with someone that isn't, potentially, maybe they're not doing as much as they could for your campaign. We're not going to say it's bad, but
I would say that it's a
You are.
red flag.
Okay.
I would. So like you have a lot of cable providers that are TV providers that aren't programmatic experts.
right.
Right, and they're buying. There's also be one thing to be conscious of is someone buying owned and operated content, right? So anything that they actually own, it's
Of course, they're getting it for less, probably.
well that too. But it's like now your reach is limited. Hey, I can get you on ESPN.com every day of the week for the night. Well, that's great. But
That's one channel.
it's one channel.
Yeah, in one
not,
place.
not everybody that I'm having is there.
Right.
So it's the same if like someone that says, "Well, I have full access to Fox News." Well, some of my end users really like CNN or MSNBC or
Sure, doesn't matter.
or they want to watch Oprah,
Yeah.
right? So or you know what I mean. So and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And then also another thing is being mindful of those huge sports packages that they would sell from cable, right?
Yeah, I have one.
And but like as a cable provider to a dealership, Let's think about this.
Oh, those, yes.
They're extremely expensive.
They're insane.
They're extremely expensive. Now, don't say that they don't bring value, right? But let's say that let's buy the person, not the content.
Interesting.
Let's find efficiencies within your budget to maximize that budget, because those dollars we could stretch further without marking up, giving you a $10,000 a month package just on sports for 4 Sundays out of the month.
Using more of the budget wisely.
Let's be conscious and
smart
efficient.
about it.
Yeah, and another great thing too is you can plug in zip codes. So all those zones and people that you don't want to reach, let's look at your CRM data.
Yeah.
Let's pull that. Let's see where you're actually purchasing. People are purchasing.
You
cars
take
from.
that data and you layer it over.
Oh,
what you're
absolutely.
seeing.
I
And you
don't
do it
make
all the
any
time. You love
decisions
it.
without it. I absolutely.
Yeah, you do love
I'm
your
obsessed
sold
with it.
data.
And then not just the sold data. Let's look at the cross-sell reports. Let's
Right,
look at
where
the
that goes out at, and then how.
Let's look at opportunities, right? And then you can analyze all the Oracle data. You can analyze the Experian data and find out, these types of users really love the Ford consumer, loves American messaging, loves a free iPad with each sell for the first 10
and
sales.
you do it every time. This is what you do
time.
with your accounts. This is how you dive in. Folks, if you're not getting this sort of attention from people, you should A, demand it, and B, if you can't get it, you should probably find Joe. Joe, where can people find you? What's the easy way to get a hold of Joe?
Well, Joseph Wilke would be, just find me on LinkedIn. You can shoot me a message. You can give me should I give my cell phone out?
Yeah, if you want. I give it out. I'm going to give it out after this. That's up to you.
I mean, just if you, it's.
Why don't you call me here? Let's do this. Go 262-278-0157. Text or call me if you want Joe's personal cell phone. I'll give it to you via that. I understand not wanting to give it out to the masses. You can find Joe on LinkedIn. You'll find me on LinkedIn. Joe, you're the man, dude. Thanks a lot for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Folks, thank you so much. Any questions for Joe and OTT, you know where to find us. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next time.